Welcome to the podcast. I'm Gwen, and you're in the right place to intentionally create an awesome life. We have our first guest today, and her name is Jam Gamble, aka the Slayer of the Mic. She helps people like you and I turn our voice into our ultimate superpower. Jam is a TV host, a media personality, a course creator, an influencer, a dog mom. Overall, just a beautiful, inspiring human. If you follow Jam on Instagram, you know this already. If you don't, highly recommend you go follow her now. But she lives a very free, joyful, authentic, charismatic life. And she's somebody I always go to if I'm feeling down or just need to be reminded of the magic of life. You just go to Jam's stories and she really uplifts you. So I'm so excited for you to soak up her wisdom today. So without any further ado, here's our interview. Jam, welcome to the podcast. Thank you so much for being guest number one. You know what's so interesting? Thinking about you being guest number one too, it's absolutely so perfect because having a podcast, so many people want to have a podcast and teach or share. And like literally you as guest number one, you help the people do this. So this is so
I feel like this is so full circle. You were like the first person I worked with in creating my course. Look at us just wanting it up.
We're maturing. We're becoming more happy people, more successful people. Look at us go. So Jam,
yeah,
this podcast is, as you know, I got married and my last name is now Aussem. And this podcast is really about creating an awesome life. So
that's awesome.
when life hands you something like that, you say, got it, let's go. So I would love to hear from you. What would you say are some of the different pillars in your life that help you create an awesome lifestyle yourself?
That's a big question, Gwenny.
The pillars?
I think the first pillar would be my health. Without health, like you can't do diddly squat. And so health, thank you, health, for keeping me strong. I think the next pillar, and you're gonna love this one, would be my gut.
Yes.
In Jam's gut we trust, as
Absolutely.
you have coined. That definitely helps me create an awesome life. And then I think just the people I have around me would be the third pillar. And I'm sure there's other pillars or steps and things like that, but without those three things, I think I would be a very lost and confused individual.
Okay, I just want to ask you about all three of those things. Well, first of all, I know you work very hard. And so there are times in your life where you've said yes to so many opportunities. The people want you. We know this. They want you to do things for them. They want influencing time. The people want Jam. So can we talk a little bit about health as a pillar? Because what are some of the things that you do to try to keep yourself in good energy? Because that's what you're really known for, is your amazing energy.
Sleep. I don't play when it comes to my sleep. I'm not an all-nighter. I'm not sacrificing. Like if I'm sleepy or if I'm hungry, we're going to have a situation. So like those things come first. But I think it wasn't always like this. And I'll take you back on a quick story. The first year of the Panorama Ding Dong, when we were just zooming it up, I was operating from a scarcity mindset, and rightfully so. So that was around the time where Black Lives Matter was taking center stage. A lot of people were wanting to work with Black creatives and Black speakers, and I was getting attention that like I've never gotten before. And so I was putting out different offers because I'm like, oh, babe, I'm getting to my husband, like, babe, I'm getting like all these like, attention. Like, let me do something with this. And I was working way too hard. And so I was on Zoom calls by the hour. And my husband is very, very, very blunt. And he bluntly told me one day, this is not healthy. Like you're not taking an hour to eat. You're not taking time for a walk. Like come and walk with Bowser and I. Come have time for a coffee upstairs. And I was like, oh, I didn't realize how I was just working myself into the ground because I was worried that I wouldn't get this type of attention or opportunity again. So I was just trying to seize as much as I could, like a squirrel just stuffing my face. Go like, oh, the winter's coming, gotta get ready. And when he put that reality like smack in my face, I was like, okay, let me set some parameters around my Zoom schedule, which I don't think anybody talked about. We just talked about pivoting online, but no one talked about creating healthy boundaries online to prioritize your mental health. So I had to put in the books. I'm off the clock from 11:30 to 1. They gave me time to go for a walk with my husband and Bowser, have a coffee and take a power nap and get back into it. So that was probably like a time where I didn't realize. And I think ever since then, I was like, between my husband giving me that dose of reality and my incredible operations manager, Ashley, those two people definitely help me when I fail to acknowledge what I'm doing to prioritize my health.
And well, you look great now. You always have a glow, you know what I'm saying? But like, it's actually a very interesting thing, the whole kind of living from that scarcity mindset and just being like, oh my God, the spotlight is on. I gotta, seize everything.
Yeah.
How have you been able to move from that scarcity mindset, maybe to a more abundant or like relaxed mindset?
These are great questions, Gwen. I feel like you're like Oprah right now. This is magical. I feel like this is my Oprah moment. I think I'm still a work in progress with that. And again, like I'm sure there's going to be people who listen and they're not going to, they might understand and some may not because it's not their lived experience. But as a Black woman, as a Black creative, as a Black speaker, as a Black business owner, I have been, and many of us have been conditioned to always be 2 steps ahead. We always have to be 2 steps ahead. And so I just filed my taxes a couple of days ago and I cried because of how much I have to pay the government. And I was so down about that. But my husband's like, but that means you worked incredibly hard and you're incredibly successful. And I'm already thinking about what I could do to make that money back or what I could do to, continue that success. And he told me, like, again, sit your ass down and just celebrate how hard you worked. And I was like, oh, I'm learning how to do that. I'm learning. And it's still, there's moments where I'm like, I could relax. I could sit down, lay my hair down, the little hair I have on my head. But then there's always part of me who's like, how long will this last? And I don't know if I know from a capability standpoint, I am highly capable of repeating the success over and over and over again. The question is, will society allow me to repeat that over and over again? And so I just have to always be thinking of the next thing and what's this and what's that and that. Like it's a lot of mental work, and I don't want to operate like that for the rest of my life, but that's what's up.
What are your thoughts on strategizing like with your head versus like making decisions from like the body, like in the gut feelings? How has that evolved?
So I still operate in Jam's gut we trust. My gut has never failed me. My gut is my northern star, and it lets me know when things are up or things need to be changed or something it may be. So I think in combination with my brain, I've matured a lot emotionally, I think, as a business owner. And I'm really telling myself, like, you have to think big. And Ashley said this, like, oh my God, Ashley said this in one of our team calls a couple of weeks ago. I was talking about workshops and I was like, oh, I wanted just to do something really quickly because I haven't done something in a long time. And I was like, well, we could do it in July and we could put it together. And she's like, well, what about your US followers and your US community and all that? I'm like, oh, they're probably not going to come to this. And she says, I think you're thinking too small. And I was like, oh. So I'm learning to just be like aware of what my potential is and what I'm capable of doing while strategizing and listening to my gut. And it's just this thing. I don't know how to put it in words, but it's just this vibe, this energy, this flow that I just rely on it. And it's what helps me get to the next thing and think of my next big idea. I don't even know if I answered that question properly, but yeah.
Yes, you did. And you're kind of leading me to, we're kind of in this interesting phase of life where we're in like the information age or the industrial age, like 9 to 5s, and it's like information everywhere. And I read we're kind of moving into the intuition age. We're moving to a different age where we're requiring different teachers, and it's becoming real interesting out here. So to people who are listening, who might not feel like they have a good gut instinct. Do you have any tips, any words of wisdom to really listen to your own voice first?
Again, another great question, Gwenny. I think the first thing that comes to mind is the speaking coach in me starts with, why don't you believe in yourself? Why don't you trust yourself? Like, that's the first thing that comes. Like, like, let me speak that truth to you. And then the second thing, practicing a more empathetic ear, it would be, I want you to think about a moment where you were faced with a dangerous situation. What did you do? Did you call somebody and ask them what you need to do? Or did you just think of what you need to do to get out of that situation? You trusted yourself to think in that moment. So I say that because you've done it before and you could do it again. And if we just stop and think about moments where, let's take this out of the business context. Let's think about like this, the skill that we're trying to achieve. We've done it in our personal lives. We've done it with other people. So we know it. And we could just translate those skills and transfer over those skills into a business kind of frame of mind. So I think a lot of people we don't take moments to stop and reflect because we don't trust, we trust ourselves, but we don't take enough moments to really think about the moments where we have trusted ourselves and it's gotten us out of some really sticky situations. And then when you think about it, you're like, okay, I've done this before. If I did that thing, why can't I do this thing? Why can't I? Why can't I? And so I really do think about moments where I've done this before. Just, it felt different, but I've done it and it was scary and I got through it. So press on.
Oh, just taking that in because it's true. And I also kind of like when you're saying that, I'm reflecting on moments where I got through scary things. And it's like, you just feel so awkward sometimes. You're like, wow,
Yes.
like I really got through it, but it was horrible. Like it should have been more smooth.
You're gonna like this. I was at a retreat last year, I think, and we were ziplining, and I've never ziplined before. And we had to climb this really big tree. And this other woman who happens to be my birthday twin, she was halfway, she got halfway, and she's like, I can't do it. I can't do it. And I was like hell you can't do it. You're like, you're already half up there. And I'm like yelling, like, you're already half up there. If you come back down, you're going to be so mad at yourself. So you might as well go forward. She's like, I can't do it. It's too scary. I'm like, do you got kids? And she's like, yeah, 3. I'm like, you pushed a baby out 3 times, but you don't want to climb a tree? Right? So that's a perfect example of, you've done harder things. Come on, climb the tree.
I feel like that really kind of is a glimpse at the jam coaching style as well, of just like, okay, I would love to talk about, it's very interesting how you putting yourself out there on the internet and so many people watch you. I was thinking about you and I'm just like, Jam is that person you go to on Instagram when you're kind of like having a crappy day or you need your spirits lifted. Not just a crappy day.
I've been told this.
Yeah. So this is because you're kind of a comedian as well. Like you're comedian, entertainer, ball of light, coach, you're many things. Yeah. But I find it very interesting, the number one fear that I don't know what the exact stat is, but so many people are afraid to speak.
Yeah.
I know you don't just do public speaking, but just even sharing and teaching on the internet. And I think I saw on LinkedIn, like 98% of people on LinkedIn are like lurkers versus posters. So I guess my question is, what would you say to people who are hiding right now when they know they have that something they want to teach and share, but they're like, they're stuck up there halfway hiding?
I don't know if this is going to make sense, but my brain, I'm just going to say the first thing that came to mind when you asked that question. I instantly thought of a game of hide and go seek. And if you're playing hide and go seek with somebody and they can't find you, they will give up. They're like, you know what? I'm done. Like, I can't find you. I'm out. And they're going to go and do something else with their time. So if you're hiding, people might just give up. Like, there are missed opportunities. So for the people who are like, I'm not ready, I'm too scared, I'm too this, are you too hungry? Are you too rich? Are you too, I don't know, like busy? What is it? Like, do you got things to do? Do you have responsibilities? Do you have a dream that you're dreaming and things that you want to accomplish, that the only way you could do that is if you have money? Well, then, okay, buckle up. Like, come on now. Peekaboo, we need to see you, because there's opportunities out here. That would be my answer to that question. But like, for those people, again, I want you to figure out, and it's almost like playing like a game of like, where's Waldo? Figure out what may be holding you back. It's very easy. I think I just posted a reel about this a couple of days. It's very easy to blame yourself and think, I'm too shy, I'm too this, I'm too that. Again, let me practice being empathetic. There might be people on your LinkedIn or people on your Instagram or whatever it may be who are eating at your potential. They're eating at it. They're doing things to make you question your ability to show up. Why the hell are those people having access to you if they don't have good intentions for you? They don't want to see you succeed. They don't want to see you soar. They want you to continue to hide. Why are you allowing these people to be in your realm? So you have to do an audit. And I regularly audit my social media, and I block, I remove, I hide stories from anyone who I think is going to hinder my ability to be my true authentic self. And if you go through your following list and it's your Aunt Beatrice, your Uncle Mark, your ex, your boss, your co-workers, your so-called bestie, remove anyone who is not for you and see when they are gone how you show up. You're going to see a difference.
Such a good tip.
Do it all the time. I do audits all the time. Oh, you ain't good. Bye.
What do you, at this stage in your journey, do you find that you do get triggered by people or jealous, or just like things that make you feel like small and want to shrink, or where are you at with that?
So I'm human. So naturally there's always going to be little moments where it's like,
Yeah.
Well, how comes they're getting attention for that? How comes people think that, whatever it is? Like, of course, I'm human. I'm not going to act like I'm unfazed. Like, of course, there's moments where I let my feelings get the best of me. I think my slight internet pet peeve is people who are claiming to be authentic, but that's not authenticity. And that's the stuff that goes viral, or that's the stuff that people, want to hear those folks share their stories on panels. And I'm like, what? Like, I'm over here doing this. And then I have to check myself and go, not every opportunity is meant for me. And I have to be a piece of that. And then I also have to go back to, in Jam's Gut We Trust, that I have done everything my way for this long, and this is where it's gotten me. Therefore, I don't have to do things. I'm not meant to do things how other people do it, because that's why I stand out. That's why I'm Jam Gamble, because I pride myself on doing things differently. I'm not meant to be a duplicate. So I just put my phone down. If I see I'm getting a little bit too salty, I'm like, you know what, phone? It's a sign that I gotta just pack you away and go cuddle my dog, because this is not
Bougie Bowser,
my son. Yeah.
Oh, that's such a beautiful reminder. It's because it's interesting in those moments when you get salty. It's just like, so you're just not. What am I trying to say? When you're in a good mood, you see other people and you want to celebrate everything people are doing. But if you're like, I kind of suck today, and then you see all that, you're like, oh God.
You know what I realize in these questions you're asking me and the answers I'm giving? I audit myself regularly. So even when I used to have anxiety attacks, I wouldn't know why I was having an anxiety attack, and I just kind of go through the anxiety attack. And then it reached a point where I started having conversations with my anxiety attacks and like auditing them. So I'm in the midst of an anxiety attack. My heart rate is 135. And I'm like, is it this? No. Is it that? No. Is it? Oh yeah, it's that. And I could slowly start to feel my heart rate decrease. So if I am seeing people doing things online and I feel those ill feelings starting to brew in this gut, this space that does a lot of good for me, all of a sudden is feeling icky because I'm bothered by something, I have to ask myself, why are you bothered by that? Why? Is it something that that person's doing, or is this a jam problem? Is this jam being envious? Is this jam being self insecure? What is it? Confront it. Confront it. And when I confront it, not only do I solve the problem, but I learn more about myself. So ultimately, I'm winning. It's great.
You really are showing like just this, like how self-awareness can be such a pillar. And also thank you for sharing transparently about like anxiety attack.
Yeah.
It's like, it just, if you see someone like yourself online, it's like, oh, she's just breezing through life. And,
I had an anxiety attack last year after the hate crime, and I had a workshop that I forgot to cancel.
oh,
And something
shoot.
triggered me. Yeah, something triggered me
Shoot.
during the day, and my heart rate would not go down. It wouldn't. And so I went into the workshop. It was
Oh,
virtual, obviously. And I was like, hi, everyone. So as you can hear him, a little bit out of breath. I'm actually in the middle of an anxiety attack right now. And I meant to cancel this workshop, but it slipped my mind because I've been dealing with a lot of things. Actually, I'm going to be honest with you. I've been dealing with a hate crime. You're the first group of people I've been talking to because I've been offline for the past couple of weeks. So we're going to do the best we can. I like to acknowledge the elephant in the room before the elephant tramples me. So I'm acknowledging it. Hi, elephant, you're there. There might be moments where I have to stop and just catch my breath. And I think you're going to be patient with me, but let's see where this goes. And that's how I started that workshop. For Shopify, actually.
yeah.
Yeah.
I actually just got chills when you were saying that, because to me, transparency in a teacher is what I want.
Yeah.
You just even saying that frees, for me as the ideal student for you would be like, I would just be like, oh, she's real and living through some shit, but we're going to get through it.
But do you know what happened during that time, Gwenny? Cohort 5 was going on simultaneously while I was dealing with the hate crime. And I told them afterwards when the course was done, I go, I reckon, I don't know if I was the best coach. And sometimes I wondered if I should have given you all a refund because I wasn't my full self. But I sincerely thank you for being patient with me and understanding when there was days I was feeling such a way. Right. Like being honest as a coach is the best thing coaches can do. Because if you try to put on a brave face, knowing you're not your best self or things are going on, and you don't tell the people who have chosen to invest their time and money in you, you're just going to be mad at yourself afterwards when things didn't go as planned. Why? Because you didn't want to be honest. You didn't want to be honest. I was honest with my cohort and said, there were days where I didn't feel like the best coach. And please let me know if there's something I didn't explain further enough or whatever it may be. And being honest with my cohort made us stronger, made our relationship stronger. But most importantly, being honest with my community, and you're going to love this, Gwen, and I know we're kind of going off course here a little bit, but being honest with my community about what was going on, I was not able to launch Cohort 5 the way that I traditionally launched Cohort 5. And I said that online, and I said, I am not going to be doing any Instagram lives. You're not going to see my face in stories. Here are some replays of things you could watch. If you have a question, you could DM me. I'll answer your DMs, but I'm not talking about anything else. And then my community, see 1, 2, 3, and 4 showed up and said, tell us what you need us to do. We're going to help you. And C5 still sold out. Still sold out. Why? Because I was honest.
That is true leadership and a true teacher to me, is that I think we all just need to take that in, because so often it's like, it's too hard. I'm just gonna bow out.
I couldn't. There was people who were waiting. The people needed to slay the mic, right? So,
well,
yeah.
we need to get back to, why is that important to you? Why is helping people use their voice as their ultimate superpower, using their voice? Why does that continue to resonate and truly matter to you?
Well, first off, God, I love teaching. I love I love teaching. I love witnessing the transformation. I love going through, literally having sleepless nights going, should I refund this person? I don't know if I'm getting through to them, and then trying to figure out how I could get through to them. I love that hard work that comes with it. Um, but I know for myself the things that I've been able to change in my life and achieve in my life simply by using my voice, and I want to pass that on to somebody else. I want, if people are listening, that there's a story they've been holding on to, a goal they've been wanting to achieve, boundaries they've been wanting to set, that they recognize that if they just learn how to fully love, trust, and honor their voice, that they could accomplish these things, that they could say these things. And the satisfaction, when I still get people from C1 who message me, hey, Jam, just want to share this win with you. You know what I mean? And when I hear that voice note, I see that message, and I'm like, oh, yes. Just imagine the amount of people out there who don't have this. And just imagine how their life could change if they learn how to use this. I have to do it. This is what I'm supposed to do. Yeah.
I couldn't agree more. But let's talk about even before you decided to step out online as a teacher for this particular course.
Mm-hmm.
Did you feel like what kind of inspired, like, hey, I want to create my course? Like, where did that come from, actually?
You?
I was around, but something sparked.
Okay, so first off, yes, it all started in September, I think, of 2019. I must have messaged Gwen. I was like, Gwenny, it's time. It's time to launch the course. Also, you might hear vacuuming in the back. My bad, friends. The cleaners are here. So it started in September 2019, something like that. I was like, I want to start the course. We figured out the course platform, and then I registered and I started paying the monies. And that course platform went untouched for months. Like I was giving Thinkific, run me my check. Like, you owe me. Anyways, I was giving Thinkific money for nothing, right? Like I was paying for storage space. And that was because the course is supposed to be evergreen, and I was struggling with creating evergreen content because at the time I didn't realize that evergreen was not my jam. The pandemic hit. I was supposed to do a Canadian tour of the Slay the Mic program. Panorama Ding Dong said, yeah, right, you ain't going nowhere, girl. And then that's when I was like, okay, well, we gotta get into this course. This is the only way I could reach people. So I don't think I ever thought about it until I saw you doing things about it. And then it just became like a thing.
Yes. Well, first of all, that's going to hit with so many people who have been paying for like aspects of their course, but it's like, it's not alive yet. So just you sharing that. And now that your course is so alive, is it over, like at this point of recording, like over 1,000 people have been impacted by you? And like, I feel like we've barely scratched surface. Is that correct? Or am I off?
Think no, I think in terms of, so in terms of me coaching over the past 8 years, definitely over 1,000 people. And let's be honest, 1,000 plus, because I put so much content on Instagram. There are people who are learning how to slay the mic without paying me to learn how to slay the mic, right? So there's a movement out there. But in terms of the course, I'd say we're just well over 100 people. And I say that because I think when people launch courses, some folks don't have the priority straight. They don't have the priority straight. And they've heard from other people that evergreen is the way to go. You can make money in your sleep. You could have endless people joining. I realized that is not the path for my program. I am meant to teach live. I'm meant to work with small cohorts. Of course, I could have 50, 60 people come in. Why not? Oh, look at all the money. But then guess what? I don't know my community. And I pride myself on knowing my community. I know them by name and knowing what their journey has been like from orientation to their jam talks. So I make a choice to keep my cohort small because that's the best way that I could teach. So I share that number so that people don't have to fall in this trap of like, oh, I want to do these vanity metrics. My program has had 4,000 people. But the question is, have you satisfied those 4,000 people? Oh, right. Oh, because I could answer that question.
One of the things I have absolutely loved, and I'm so inspired by you, is you don't follow what like traditional course creation. And it's been it's been a successful unfolding on your terms. From the marketing to like, even I know you've experimented with like doing some traditional things and maybe you're like, yeah.
Do you remember cohort 2? So cohort 1 sold out in 18 hours. Gwen and I were like, because you were my right hand when we launched C1. And then C2, it sold out in 72 hours. But Gwenny here was getting a little nervous by day 2 because C1 sold out in 18 hours. And then Gwenny was like, well, maybe we should do like a free course, not course, a webinar, have it at the end. I was like, Gwen, trust the process, man. Trust the process. Be good. Like when I do Instagram lives, I'm not giving any more than that. No, we done. That's it. That's it. They got the live and that's all they're going to get. You get what you get. You don't get upset. We're not doing more than that, Gwenny. Trust the process. And it's still sold out in 72 hours.
It's just such a beautiful reminder. You're a teacher to me of just like, because you weren't in the fear-based scarcity mindset at that point. You're like, and also it evolves too.
I kind of was in the beginning for C1. I had mega imposter syndrome because that was the most money I had ever asked for in exchange of my services. And then I think we priced it at like $1,200 or $1,250 or something like that. And then I was struggling so much with that rate that I actually came up with a Jam in a Day code so people could save $100.
Yeah, Jam in a Day, aka Canada Day. Oh, isn't that? I think it's just fun to kind of share that behind the scenes that you're figuring it out. You're testing things, you're experimenting, and just never experiment if you're coming from like a fear-based, oh God, because that's just not gonna work.
You know what? The course world has been running the experimentations for me. So C1, 2, 3, and 4, I think sold out. And when things were getting a little like fluctuating in C5, my ego was under attack. And so I needed that. I needed to experience not selling out a cohort. I needed to experience days without sales to see how I reacted and how much I trusted myself that everything will work out. The people who are meant to be in the program will come in the program. But I think, again, in this course world, one of the biggest buzzwords that people are hyper focused on is selling out, selling out, selling out. And then to me, I'm like, if we don't sell out and we're not excited that we didn't sell out, what does that say to the people who joined our program? That, oh, I'm happy you're here, but I really wanted to get to my number of 30 people. like what? I am grateful. I am grateful. So no, we don't increase sales days. No, we don't do any of that jazz. I got 10 people. I got 10 people. Those are the 10 people who are trusting me. Let's go have some fun and learn how to say the mic.
So good. I feel like everyone needs to hear that, especially when you're creating courses. When say you're just first starting out, like sure, you may have a vision to have tens of thousands, millions of students take your course, but you're going to almost regret missing the early days when you could remember every single person's name, unless you want to keep it small forever, but not small, but just keep it intimate. That's the word. But that's such a beautiful reminder. So if anyone's having an ego attack, say somebody's listening to this, they're mid course launch, freaking out, no one's enrolling, what would you say if someone's right in it right now and they're freaking out?
One, I hope you can still hear me over the vacuum.
Yes, I can. And also
good, awesome.
An awesome aspect of your life is having cleaners help
clean. Let me tell you, that's the first thing I got myself after C1. I was like, I'm getting myself, that's my congratulations present, because Jahmeelah does not have time to use the Dyson. I don't got that time anymore. So to that person who is having a slow launch day, I'm going to be real with you. One, I want you to acknowledge your emotions. Your emotions are valid. It's okay. It's okay to be worried. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to feel defeated. It's okay to feel all of those things, because I always feel those things, and then the imposter shows up and it's like, knock, knock, who's there? Imposter syndrome. What do you want to say, imposter? And the imposter is going to tell you all this nonsense. What's important is how you use your voice in that moment where your imposter is making you feel like things are not going to go as planned. And so I've really been learning how to talk to myself and say, listen, if 6 people come into this cohort, even though there are 20 spots, yes, it's going to suck because you set a goal of 50K or whatever it may be. Yes, I get that. But then I had to do a bit of like a reframe reality check and go, we are going through really uncertain and unprecedented times, especially financially. And if 6 people said, you know what, I have the means and the money to invest in you, then be grateful that 6 people chose you. And you're going to give those 6 people the best experience that they have. But our ego does not want to admit defeat. Our ego does not want to come online and tell people that there are still spots left, because everybody only speaks in sells out lingo. You got 13, you got 13. So if those slow days are happening, why go back to the drawing board? Go back to the drawing board. I've even gone online and said, hey, if you're on the fence about the Slay the Mic program, if there are any questions that I have not answered for you yet, send me a DM. I'll send you a voice note. I'll answer those questions for you. Do everything you can, and then be at peace with whatever the outcome is. Because we can't control everything. The only thing we could do is control our course, our launch plan, and how we show up as a coach. It's the only things that we could control. But I am not somebody who believes in the FOMO mindset of like going online and telling people you got 3 days left, you got 5 minutes left. Like, please, like, come in the program if you can't. And if you can't, no worries, no biggies. I'm at peace. And I think that's probably one of the biggest lessons I've learned as a coach and a course creator, is to be at peace, because every cohort is going to feel differently, because every cohort is launching at a different time of the year, different circumstances, all kinds of factors are at play that I'm a magical person, but I can't control everything. So it's okay.
Oh, that's such beautiful advice. Because yeah, maybe one cohort too, there's a couple of people, but as you're saying, maybe it's just the time of year. Next time it sells out extremely fast, or maybe you just have like literally the best people you've ever met in those.
It's like driving stick drop, like in course, it's like, oh. Okay, you just got to be along with the ride.
Do you know that that's how I've been learning how to drive a car? It's horrible.
A stick? Oh, I'll never drive a stick.
Oh, that's just that's an interesting pillar. Okay, we have a few minutes left. So let me just ask you, what keeps because you've done so many cohorts. I feel like cohort
the 8th
8
in the fall.
Yes, the 8th is coming up. And I feel like, who knows, someone might be listening to this and you're like, I'm on cohort 25. Like, woo. So how do you kind of like do you have to like get your enthusiasm back up to start marketing? Like, what kind of like, how do you, 8 is a lot, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm impressed. How do you do it? How do you keep saying I'm doing this again and again?
I don't know, to be honest. I think my brain will tell me when it's time to just, peace out kind of thing. For now, I think I've been given an incredible opportunity to educate and inspire and encourage other people. And as long as I have gas in my tank, I will continue to, drive my course car and teach as many people as I can. But I think what gives me the fuel is my community. I think it's when people message me and say, I'm starting to save from now. My birthday present to myself is going to be the gift of getting my voice back. Or people who say how much they appreciate my content. Or when I'm getting ready to launch and other cohorts are talking about the program, they're not affiliates. They get nothing for doing this. And to see my community show up and celebrate and promote Slay the Mic in the way that they do, that's just the motivation I need to press on. But if I was able to work through several anxiety attacks and dealing with police and all those things during cohort 5 while coaching 20 or so people, I could do anything.
Wow. To hold the space and
plus be a speaker myself, right? So doing keynotes, doing workshops, all those things, I was able to, should I have been doing them? Probably not. But my community was my pillar then. So
that is a beautiful thing. I have some rapid fire questions for you to finish us off. All about awesome things. So hopefully it leaves you on a high. Yeah. What's an awesome vacation spot you highly recommend?
So I've been on this journey of solo travel because I realize I'm very dependent on my husband when we travel. So Italy has been delicious for me. I'm going back again in the summer. I need more. It was great and delicious and all the things.
Out of office. No one bothered Jam while she's
Don't
eating
bother
gelato
me.
and pizza.
It's subject line. Jam's living her best life.
Oh my God.
That's what I put.
Amazing. That's literally so amazing. I need
No
to
one
get on
else
your
does
level.
this? I do this all the time. I'm like, Jam's
I've
living
never
her best
done
life.
that.
Talk to you too.
Oh my God. I love that so much. Okay. What is one awesome brand that you're just loving right now?
Ooh. Oh gosh, that's a really hard question. Awesome brand doing thing. Oh my God, that's a tough question. I would say Poppy and Peonies, for example. I'm an affiliate with Poppy and Peonies, but they create, first off, Natalie's an incredible entrepreneur, and secondly, creating very chic, luxurious looking bags at a very affordable price. I'm for that. Yeah.
Yes. Shout out to Poppy and Peonies.
Poppy and Peonies.
Poppy and Peonies, small business. Love that.
Yeah.
And what's a brand that, because you've worked, I know that was a hard question for you. You've worked with so many brands. What's a brand that you're calling in that you would love to work with? You would love to, you're like, it's in the pipeline.
Oh, it's not in the pipelines. I'm just,
okay.
I keep talking about it. I want to work with Apple Fitness Plus. I want to do a walk with Jam. I want y'all to come walk with me and let's talk and hear me be out of breath because walking is exhausting. And then I want to do a masterclass.
Yes. Well, it's funny you see, like the Apple Fitness. I actually was thinking about that earlier when you were talking about the anxiety attack. I was like, when is Jam doing her Apple collaboration?
Apple has been my best friend with my anxiety attacks. It's like, hi, realize you're not really moving much, but your heart rate's like a 136. Everything okay, girl?
Oh my God. If anybody listening to this knows somebody at Apple, okay, universal forces, where are you? Okay. We need,
come on. It'd be a great walk. I might even do a little light run.
This is absolutely happening. I can't wait.
Yeah.
A couple more. What's an awesome food you're just loving right now? Food.
I'm enjoying food in general. So I realized when I went to Italy that I was not actually exploring my taste buds. And I feel like taste buds is a part of my creative process. So when I was in Italy and I was just trying things that I'm typically very picky about, it just opened up a whole new world of taste buds. And then I think it helped me as a creative, just see and taste things differently. So just food.
That's actually such a beautiful answer because we're so often we're just like shoveling food just to like eat.
I actually get emotional when I have good food. Like I actually cry and then I ask to speak to the chef so I could shake their hand and thank them.
Oh, I love that so much. That level of appreciation. What's one awesome piece of advice that you have received that's really helped you?
Ooh, when my husband and I first met, he told me that his grandfather used to tell him to work hard for your name for 10 years so that it could work for you for the rest of your life. And every so often, my husband reminds me, you're almost at that 10-year mark. You're almost at that 10-year mark. And I've never let that advice go. It's been, yeah. Jam Gamble's going to work for me for the rest of my life, baby. Jam Gamble's body may not be working, but this name will be working.
Well, if health is pillar number one, you will be just fine for another 80 years.
You know it.
Two more questions. And what's one piece of advice that you like to give? What's coming to mind today? Final words of wisdom for the listeners.
When I say your voice is your ultimate superpower, it's not a tagline, it's a mindset, right? So we all have a favorite song. We know that song from front to back, back to front. We know the lyrics, we've memorized it. Your voice should be your favorite song. You should just love listening to it over and over and over again. And so if you don't have that relationship with your voice, start today. Start today. Listen to it more. Pay attention to it more. It's dropping you so many gems and insight that if you just learn to just lean in and embrace it, it's going to change things for you. Trust me.
That's such a beautiful thing to say. Cause yeah, like so often it's like body love, like appreciate, but like you're really advocating for the voice.
Man, I hear dollar signs when I talk. Love this voice.
It's so good. And lastly, just how can the people connect with you, learn from you, get into the jam world?
I remember I used to say you could follow me on Twitter. Don't even look for me there. Twitter's a hot mess right now. IamJamGamble.com is my main website. SlayerOfTheMic.com for everything about the Say the Mic program. And you can find me on Instagram at IamJamGamble. I'm not about the TikTok. I'm not about the TikTok talk. It's just, no, thank you. Just follow me on Instagram. Let's talk there.
Perfect. Jam, thank you so much for being here, for being guest number one, literally the most awesome guest of all time.
Can we do a part two, Gwen? You asked such good questions.
I would love to.
I'll just lie on the couch.
Yeah.
I'll just lie on the couch this time. Ask me another one, Gwen. Ask me another one.
Oh, you have so much wisdom. We barely scratched the surface. But everyone, go follow Jam. And Jam, thank you so much. You are the best.
Thanks, Gwenny.
Thank you so much for listening to the podcast. If you like this episode, I would so appreciate it if you rated it or left a review. I hope you have a glorious rest of your day and continue leaning towards creating your awesome life.